Yay Networks.
Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. I'm your host, Sybil, and I can't wait for you to hear all of the Great Girlfriend magic on today's show. So without further ado, grab something great to drink, grab your pen and your paper, and get ready for this week's episode. Enjoy! Hey, great girlfriends, and happy Wednesday. I'm so excited to be back with you and in the middle of our really, really cozy winter season. If you're like me, you're grabbing blankets, you're grabbing hot chocolate, and you're grabbing your favorite books. And I have been extremely privileged to be introduced to an author, Sharon C. Cooper, who is the author of a few good books that you're going to want to add to your list for your winter wonderland as you start to explore new topics and stories and really consume these stories and make them your own or start your own book club. And I also want to talk to Sharon about why books and storytelling is so important. So I'm just going to give you a little bit about her bio before I jump her right into the episode. So we've got Sharon C. Cooper, who's an award-winning in USA Today best-selling author. She loves anything that involves romance with the happily ever after, whether in books, movies, or real life. Sharon writes contemporary romance as well as romantic suspense and enjoys rainy days, carpet picnics, and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Oh my God, I love that too. Sharon's been nominated for numerous awards and is the recipient of Romance Slam Jam Emma Awards for Author of the Year in 2019, Favorite Hero of 2019, Romantic Suspense of the Year 2015, Interracial Romance of the Year 2015, and Rab Award Breakout Author of the Year 2014. When Sharon isn't writing, she's hanging out with her amazing husband, doing volunteer work, or reading a good book, romance, of course. And I want you to learn more about Sharon at SharonCooper.net, but I also want you to join me in welcoming Sharon to the show. Hey, Sharon.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm well. How are you, Sybil?
I'm so good. And you know what I love? I felt very kindred with you when I came on the show today, Great Girlfriends in a sweatshirt. And I'm wearing one of my Great Girlfriends sweatshirts, by the way. And Sharon's in her sweatshirt and she's like, I'm underdressed. I'm like, Sharon, you are perfect, actually, because it is that kind of day for both of us.
It is. Yeah. It's cooler than usual here.
And so we're just going to enjoy like this. And it's it's sweatshirt season, right? It's like sweatshirts, sweats, joggers, get cozy season where you find yourself, really comfy throughout the day, still functional, but comfy. So right. I love that. Sharon, yes. Peanut butter and jelly. Let's talk about it. No, I'm just joking.
I love peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I don't eat them that often because they sometimes trigger migraines for me. But sometimes it's worth it. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
What type of bread, Sharon?
Let's
see what type of bread are you eating them on?
I'm eating usually like a whole grain. Something with a lot of grain.
Okay, so you lost me with whole grain for sure. Like when I'm having peanut butter and jelly. So there's one particular bread that I eat peanut butter jelly on. It's probably nostalgic from childhood. It's called Home Pride wheat bread. Have you seen that bread?
Yeah.
That's the only bread I can have peanut butter jelly. And, I think God's playing a trick on me because my kids don't like peanut butter and jelly at all. I know.
I've never heard that before.
It's horrible. I've tried to you see your friends at school, they have peanut butter and jelly. Do you want to try it? They're like, ew. Yeah. So it's
wild.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. I'm like, who doesn't like this? PBJ,
right?
What? They don't like it. But Sharon, so it's little things like that take me back to the moments when I first fell in love with books and storytelling. And for me, it was going to the library as a girl with my big sisters, and my mom would actually take us with milk crates, and we would go with our crates. And every time we go to the library, we fill the crate up with books. And so I was like a huge Curious George fan as a kid. That was like my starter series. You couldn't tell me anything about Curious George. I still have my Curious George from childhood. Building up. Yeah, I do. And my kids try to take, and I was like, no. George is sacred. We don't mess with George. Okay, thank you. But from the beginning, forward now to books like yours, I love the power of the escape that a book can take you on. And I love the idea that you can become a character and you embody her or him or whomever, and you start to envision this life it's like a world of the unknown as you turn pages. Tell me, for you, what's it like for you as an author? What is your expectation of a reader? Like, what do you want to achieve when you're writing these romantic, and actually you're in 3 genres. So I should say across genre as you're writing, what do you want the reader to experience as they're going through books?
I usually try to write a story in a way where a reader will experience several different emotions throughout the story. None of my stories are one note. You might be laughing one minute, gasping the next.
Yeah.
Maybe, fighting back tears, at some point. And then there's areas where they're a little heated.
Yeah.
But the goal is always, whenever I sit down to plan a story, write a story, is always to incorporate as many different emotional situations. That way the reader will feel like they're part of the story, where they can kind of connect and, have, various emotions throughout, good or bad,
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's usually my number one goal. I want to make it an experience, not just a story, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. How did you know that you were good at writing?
How did I know? I think when my mother is definitely not a romance reader, and probably not much of a fiction reader. And I remember she read one of my earlier books, despite me trying to, convince her not to, because there are sex scenes in it, and it's just weird knowing that your mother's reading, a book and you have to feel the sex scenes, hot sex scenes, in this particular one that she read. And I knew I was on the right track because we were having a conversation about nothing related to the story. And all of a sudden she said, well, that's how it was with Iris and blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. And I'm like, who is Iris? And she said, isn't that the character in Legal Seduction? I'm like, I just couldn't believe how she had worked it into just the ordinary conversation. And how she had somehow connected with this character. And it was months after the book was released. That's probably why it threw me, because she just started talking about Iris. And I'm like, you don't know anybody, named Iris. I'm like, who are you talking about? And she said, isn't that the character in your book? Yeah. And I was like, you do know she's fictional, right? She's like, you should make her seem so real. That's why she ended up in the conversation.
And that's what happens. These characters become a part of your world when it's a great storytell, and you find yourself, roping other people into the story, to the fold. And ultimately, that's how book clubs are formed. Like, I want people to get involved in this, take this journey with me through a book. So as you create these books, and 3 different genres that you're in, and how many books have you authored over the course of your career?
This year.
Wow, you've lost count.
With my December release of In It to Win It, that'll be book 39.
Wow. How long have you been an author?
I published my first book in 2012. So what is that? Oh, that's 10 years. 10 years.
10 years. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Wow, those years went fast.
Yeah. What was your starting expectation? Were you like, I'm going to write one and it's going to be a good one? Or what was that start?
My starting expectation was to write sweet romance. That was one thing that didn't happen. Okay. And then I don't know if I really thought about how many books I would write, but it was interesting as each time I'm writing a story, other stories come to mind. And so before you know it, you have 39 books that are actually published, so. Yeah.
39 books that are published and well read. And now you're even a USA Today bestselling author, which is so special. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Because none of that work has gone in vain. But as a storyteller, what have you learned about people and the changing tide of books? Are people still in love with books? Are they now migrating to different mediums for their storytelling?
It's funny you should say that. I have a group of author friends, and we have a authors who brunch gathering once a quarter. And that was one of the topics that we were talking about this past week, was that for some of us, it felt like our readership has changed some. For others, people like with my readers, they still seem to enjoy the ebooks and the paperbacks. There were a couple of authors in a group, maybe 2 or 3 authors in a group, who mentioned more of their readers are enjoying audiobook. And my readers, they'll ask for certain things, but they have not enough to make me really put every single book in audio. But that's one thing. Audiobook seems to be kind of on the rise for some authors.
So tell me, will Business Not as Usual be in audiobook form, or is it already in audiobook form?
It is. It's an audiobook form. The other book, In It to Win It, is the audiobook is being made now. And then I have a few other audiobooks.
Okay. So I want to get into this a little bit. Business Not as Usual. Dreamy Daniels is determined to manifest the life of her dreams. Each day she repeats the mantra, I am beautiful. I am confident. I am lovable. I am a lottery winner. So what if she lives in a seedy part of Los Angeles in a house that's one earthquake away from crumbling, or works an unfulfilling secretarial job while struggling to finish her bachelor's degree? All Dreamy needs to do is win the lottery, which she's been entering in as a weekly tradition with her grandfather. When she catches the attention of her boss's potential investor, Dreamy has to remind herself to focus on her career goals so she can be her own boss. Who cares if he has the social grace of Duke of Sussex and the suaveness of Idris Elba? No distractions allowed. So we all know a Dreamy. Maybe we are a Dreamy.
I know, right?
Maybe, who has her head in the clouds, but also has her feet on the ground.
Yeah.
And so there's so many women that are living in that space of I'm dreaming by night, or I'm dreaming by day, and I'm working by night, etc. So I feel like we know her, right? Or she maybe is our sister, our cousin, our great girlfriend.
Definitely.
Yeah. Bring Dreamy to life for me. Where was she birthed?
Oh man, Dreamy. Dreamy turned out very different than I normally write. She is eccentric. She's fun-loving. She's just like walking sunshine. She never meets a person that doesn't become an immediate friend. She's kind of happy-go-lucky. She might be down for a minute, but then, within seconds, she's back to her normal bubbly self, despite some of the bad breaks that life has thrown her. She's the ultimate optimist. She's not me.
Okay.
I'm more of a realist, but she's not afraid to dream and just think the best of every situation. She tries to learn something out of every situation. Yeah, she was a fun character to write, very colorful, just personality-wise, and even her style. She dresses very colorful. And she was such a fun character.
Yeah. So what becomes of Dreamy? Does she win the lottery?
She does win the lottery.
Wow.
Her grandfather, Slick Lester. He's a ladies' man. He's like in his 80s, and he's real.
Okay.
He added comic relief to the story. He's like what you back in the day, what we used to call an OG, original gangster, and they do win. They win the lottery. They win hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh, wow.
And though she, always believed that she could win it, once she does, it's like, it's real then. You know how most of us, I play every now and then when I can remember to buy a ticket. But you have these, ideas like, if I win or when I win, I'm going to do this, this, and that. But when you actually win, she had to really okay, think about everything from security to moving, because others have found out she won. So her life changed, for the better, of course, financially, but she really had to, it was an adjustment because she had nothing at first, and was just struggling to barely making, being able to pay bills. And so she did win.
It's so interesting because her mantra came true. So she actually manifested this win, I
She
should say.
did. She
She was
did.
determined that it happened. Why do you think her story is so important or important to women today?
I think when I was writing the story, I wrote the story during in the midst of COVID. So mainly I wrote it just something lighter, just something that could be fun, that can have some guaranteed laugh out loud moments. But I think her story is so important because when she created that mantra, it was after she had been dumped by her boyfriend who said she wasn't sophisticated enough for him. He was a lawyer, had just made partner, and she was still in, she had just started back to college and, just barely making it. Economically, they were two different levels. And so she had to kind of remind herself, basically she's enough. She's special. She's, beautiful, and she's going to win the lottery. And so I think that's important for a lot of us to remember that though we might not be where we want to be at the level we want to be, but where we are now is just fine. As long as we, love ourselves, love life, because, we all know life is so short, And she didn't take for granted anything, she just enjoyed who she was in that moment, each moment,
Well, what is some of the things that dreaming sort of teaches women about ambition and the relationships that are tied to those things?
Yeah, ambition for dreaming, because she, true to her name, she was a dreamer. She had these big goals to create a nonprofit organization that provided mentorship and financial assistance to women who wanted to start their own business. That was so important to her. She didn't want to always work for somebody else. She had great ideas. She loved people. She was a leader. And she knew she could only do that if she had her own. So she had gone back she had taken time off of school. She had basically dropped out of college for a few years to take care of her grandfather. And then once his health was better, then she started, attending school, night school, and then working full time. But she knew she wasn't gonna always work for somebody else. She wanted her own, and she wanted a way to create something that will help other women, get their own, basically.
In our ambitions, sometimes we have to do this. We have to separate ourselves from certain people, places, or things. And some people will stifle your ambition and others will help to fuel it. And it sounds like her grandfather was fuel, but he was
fuel.
Maybe the ex fueled her a bit.
Actually, the ex did in a negative. Well, I don't even know if it's a negative sense. Because of him, she really wanted to kind of better herself and to make something of herself. And then when she meets Carter, who's the hero of the story, he loved her just the way she was and was very supportive, wanting to help her with her goals. He would have probably funded this job that she wanted, but she refused to take any money, not the job, but the organization that she was trying to create. He had offered to, to give her the money or loan her the money, invest, she's like, nope, I don't want your money. She wanted to do it, on her own.
So, wow. Yeah. Wow. So what percentage of Sharon is woven into Dreamy?
I wouldn't say I'm walking sunshine, but I usually always have a smile.
Okay. Ambition, mantras.
Definitely ambitious. I do have to remind myself, that, okay, I got this. So what if I had 3 back-to-back deadlines? I got this. I could do this, without, strangling anybody or driving my family crazy,
Wow.
So the ambition, definitely. I was one of those who worked full time and went to college part time. So yeah. So there's some similarities in that. She's more eccentric than I am. I'm pretty much girl next door type. She's the one she loved wigs. She has beautiful hair, but she loves the idea of wearing a different hairstyle every day. She might go to work with a blonde wig on and then, go home for lunch and change it to, a black Bob or something. She's that person.
Okay.
She's not going to just wear all black. She's going to have a splash of yellow and orange, and yeah, she's the kind of person I think everybody would enjoy having as a friend.
Got you. Okay. So now give us a little glimpse into your upcoming release, In It to Win It, in December.
In It to Win It is sort of a spinoff from Business Not as Usual. The main character, or the main hero, the heroine in the story is Morgan Redford. She ends up being Dreamy's sister-in-law. Yeah, she's Carter, who's the hero in Business Not as Usual. She's his youngest sister.
Okay.
And so this story is her. She's like this. Her and Dreamy have a little bit in common. They both love life. Dreamy's not afraid to get her hands dirty. Morgan doesn't like to get dirty at all. She, her father's an A-list actor. So she grew up never needing money, just kind of flying by the seat of her pants. It took her forever to even, kind of decide what she wanted to do with her life. She's a very talented fashion designer, but it's not her passion. Her passion is she wants to do something to help those who are less fortunate. Usually in the majority of my books, I usually create some kind of nonprofit. I will have my character working towards something that will help others, because I really believe in that, volunteering and stuff like that. And so this is my way of kind of like, just making readers aware of some of the needs out there. So with Morgan, after she's tried a few, harebrained businesses, because she too wants to be her own boss. Most of her businesses have failed. They were horrible business ideas in the first place. But she settles on her best friend decides they start a nonprofit for teens who are aging out of the foster care system. That is a huge problem in most states, where you might have 20,000 teens aging out and nowhere to go. So a lot of them end up on the street. And so they created this nonprofit organization where they provide housing, temporary housing. They help them if they need to apply for college. They help them with that. They help them find jobs. And in this story, so they've created this nonprofit, but because there's such a need for the service, they're looking for a larger place. One of the agreements that Morgan is the heroine in this story. One of the agreements that she made with her best friend is that she wouldn't just dole out the cash for everything. They wanted this to be a viable business that pretty much stands on its own, but they need a larger space. They, have hundreds of children that come to them, monthly, but they can't house them all. So she finds this building that's like a gold mine in an area of Hollywood that's like perfect for their plans. But the owner is a billionaire, and he's eccentric, and he has other ideas. He's selling the place, but she has to work for it as well as. And then what that does, it brings her face to face with her college sweetheart, who she ghosted 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it brings them face to face.
This is the page turner.
Yeah. Like I said, it has those emotions, the story incorporates numerous emotions about forgiveness, and just, it's going to take your readers, our readers, on a little ride. It's a really cute story. I think that's the best way to describe it. It's a cute and fun story, very light, just something to kind of take us away from, the politics that's going on, the wars and all that, and a good book to curl up with, And when is this book being released? This book releases December 13th.
Okay.
Yep. And it is a romantic comedy. Yep.
Sharon, how do you know when you've completed a book?
I am a plotter. So usually I go through my outline, and I'll usually know that, okay, this is it. I've done it. I've told the story that played out in my head or in my heart. And that's usually how I know it's done. But I also have an outline that, kind of tells me
Seals
this is it.
Yeah, this is your wrap. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So what do you think will be your legacy as an author?
I think the fact that I can write in several genres, and according to a few readers, do it well.
Mm-hmm.
And so the feedback has been fabulous, with me, trying my hand at different genres. Of course, there's one that I love more than others, but I think, I don't know if that's a good legacy, but I think that might be my legacy,
That's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, it's yours. It's whatever you're working toward.
Yeah, now you're going to have me looking up legacy, deciding, okay, what is my legacy going to be?
Yeah, and I'm just curious as because you've got 39 books under your belt, a number of awards and accolades, and I'm just curious if you're building up to the legacy that you desire, or are you on a quest to reinvent what you want to see, and or the trails that you're blazing. So I'm just kind of curious, for you, as you're working and authoring, are you in sync with where you thought you'd want to be, or are you?
I'm beyond where I thought I would be. I never imagined that I would have almost 40 books. I knew I wanted to do something where I can be my own boss. I've had a couple of businesses, so I knew that, and writing gives me that opportunity to kind of be my own boss, work from anywhere.
Yeah.
And but it has definitely exceeded my expectations, because I just wanted to write sweet romance, a couple of books here and there, I didn't know or hadn't really planned that it would take on a life of its own, just kind of it just blew up,
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I mean, and listen, let it keep blowing. There's so much more on the inside of you. Yeah. This is the perfect blow up. We like this kind of blow up. This has been great. Yeah. So Sharon has these 2 books and 37 more books to go alongside Business Not As Usual and In It to Win It, and many more titles to come. So I love that you have an entire catalog of books that great girlfriends can grab and get cozy with during this winter season and beyond. And also, I think that gifts for me, if I find like a really great author, I love to get a few books from their catalog and gift them during the holiday season. And even
I love that idea.
Yeah. And then like at the top of the year, I give books out. If I know friends are going on vacation, I'm like, go get this one, or I'll send them something from Amazon that I found that I thought was really special. So you're going to keep us busy reading.
Oh, yeah.
All winter long. Sharon, where can great girlfriends keep up with you on social media if they want to touch base and let you know how they feel about your books or suggest books?
Yeah. If they go to my website, SharonCooper.net, they can find all of my books, a few details about the stories, a little bit about myself, probably an updated bio. And then they can find all of my links to my social media. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Haven't tried TikTok yet, but maybe one day.
When you're ready.
They can find anything they want about me on my website, and it also has access of how to contact me.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on today, Sharon. We appreciate
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And I look forward to jumping into In It to Win It this December. All right, great girlfriends. Did you enjoy this week's episode of the podcast? If so, would you please give us your amazing review on iTunes? Every single review helps another great girlfriend get plugged into the podcast and the community. Speaking of community, make sure you join our Facebook group at The Great Girlfriends. Follow us on Instagram at The Great Girlfriends and on Twitter at @the_great GFS. I'm Sybil Amuti, and I'm out. Peace.